I'm highest. Oh no. I don't. Chasing 12.
Yes, you do excellent work. Do you accept this tip form of a check? I can't say this ever happened before, but I don't see why not. Pag na itong game charger to. No, no, wait, no, this can't. This was way too much. No, ang charger ko. I want you to have it.
Wow!
Well, because
Hayo siya, hayo.
I know what you're going through. 10 years ago,
Hayo siya.
on her first date, she was bullied by school bullies. But these people should never have picked a fight with someone who came with a vengeful spirit attached. Because inside this girl's body resides the most terrifying ghost mother from Northfield legend. It is an extremely possessive and protective dark deity. Most of the time, it lies dormant inside the host like a motherly presence. But once the host is intentionally harmed, it immediately turns dark and becomes the most ruthless death-dealing spirit. Because of this, I almost
That's
family to an isolated
hayo
chill. Surrounded by ocean on all sides,
chill.
with no way to escape. Rather than calling it a school, it is more like a prison built to lock up troubled girls. The entire island is filled with women. The only man is Wayne, who operates the ferry. Here, survival of the fittest is the only rule. The newly arrived buyer can only fall to the very bottom of the chain to establish dominance over her. The school bully M deliberately placed her in the darkest corner of the dormitory. The bedding was crawling with cockroaches. Just looking at it was enough to make your skin crawl. In order to survive here, Aya could only swallow Rita's anger. Restrain your eyes to see this piece to take advantage of the benefits of Aya next. I lost my wife to cancer.
So he's still dead. Oh no, that's big. No question. Wait. I'm question. Oh no, that's higher. That's higher. Oh no, he's wait. Oh, dead. Oh is the sky.
But this act slowly pushed them toward their own destruction. Retribution came quickly. That night, Abe sat in front of the river brushing her hair. She suddenly noticed the brush was tangled in white strands. Her heart tightened. She hurriedly looked up in the mirror. She saw a ghostly figure standing behind her reflection, staring at her coldly. She turned around, trembling, and saw nothing. Just as she let out a sigh of relief, still shaking, Abe looked at her shoulder and found 3 bloody scratches on it. Even more disturbing, Xiaohua, who had also taken part in the bullying, had the exact same wounds on her shoulder. Xiaohua, being from the north, immediately recognized it as the Ghost Mother's death mark. In her hometown, the Ghost Mother was known as a fiercely protective evil spirit. She usually lived inside a clay doll guarding her host. If the host was ever harmed, she would take revenge tenfold, killing anyone who bullied them. Stubborn as ever, Abe didn't believe anything. To prove it was all nonsense, early the next morning, she went to find Aya again and brutally beat her without mercy. She stomped hard on Aya's face, grinding it under her foot again and again, while constantly mocking her. Aren't you protected by the Ghost Mother? Then have her come out and kill me if she can. After being humiliated like that, Aya completely lost all hope. Under the cover of night, she secretly went to find Awe. Through tears, she begged him to help her escape, but Awe said there was nothing he could do. A violent storm was raging out at sea. The only ferry had already been destroyed. There was no signal on the island to contact the outside world. Escaping was simply impossible. Heartbroken and defeated, Aya had no choice but to turn back. And this scene was seen by Abe, who was still awake. The next day, overcome with jealousy, Abe made a false accusation. In this place, like a prison for the living, secret meetings between boys and girls were strictly forbidden. To make an example out of her, the principal publicly subjected Aya to a brutal whipping. This reckless act by the principal completely awakened the slumbering evil spirit. Later that night, the principal entered the girls' dorm to inspect. Unexpectedly, the oil lamp in his hand suddenly went out. Right after that, he saw a dark figure appear at the end of the dorm. It was humming a strange and eerie tune, terrified out of his mind. The principal instinctively backed out of the room. With a loud bang, the door slammed shut right in front of him. He thought he had escaped danger, but then a trail of footprints appeared on the ground.
Emily, so thank you.
Everyone who heard the noise rushed out to see what was going on. They saw the principal standing there, his face filled with terror. There were 3 bloody scratches across his neck.
Yes,
Even Aya,
you
who
would.
never believed in anything supernatural, started to panic. To find out whether the Ghost Mother was real, they searched through Aya's bed. Sure enough, they found a clay figure, but this one was old, with the head and body still attached. Back in Xiaohua's hometown in the American South, a newborn's first cry is believed to attract possession by the Ghost Mother. Adults perform a ritual to separate the clay figure's head from its body, symbolically redeeming the child. But Aya's figure was still intact, which meant her bond with the Ghost Mother had never been broken. But to stubborn Aya, this terrifying explanation sounded like complete nonsense. Since they had already crossed the line, she decided to go all the way. She and her follower dragged Aya to a dry well by force, then kept pressuring her step by step until Aya fell into the well. After that, the 2 of them covered the well with a heavy stone slab, showing a complete lack of humanity. That night, a sudden storm broke out. Cold rainwater poured relentlessly into the well, quickly rising up to Aya's chest, just as she was losing hope and about to drown. At the same time, Awe, who was searching for Aya in the rain, noticed a blurry figure ahead. Thinking it was Aya, he hurried after her. The figure led him to a patch of grass and then disappeared. Only then did he discover the sealed dry well. Thanks to this strange guidance, Aya managed to survive. The next morning during assembly, just when Aya thought there was no evidence left, she was shocked to see Awe helping Aya walk back. As the truth was about to come out, the guilty follower suddenly accused first, claiming Aya had secretly met Awe in the middle of the night. Before Aya could explain herself, the dorm supervisor slapped her hard across the face. Awe was about to react, but the principal, who had been watching, sternly stopped him and said the matter would be fully investigated. After this farce, Xiaohua helped Aya treat her wounds in the dorm. Taking the opportunity, Aya finally revealed her secret about the Ghost Mother. It turned out that her bond with the Ghost Mother wasn't something she was born with. When she was very young, she once found a headless clay figure on the floors. Out of curiosity, she took the protective clay head she carried and attached it to the body. From that moment on, the Ghost Mother began to stay by her side. Anyone who tried to harm her would face the Ghost Mother's revenge, returned with even greater force. Those drafters back then were twisted to death by the ghost mother for touching her. By the time she finished telling the story, it was already midnight. 1 more. The candles in the hallway went out. The fiercely protective ghost mother came right on time. The follower who had heard Aya earlier that day. In her sleep, the follower suddenly snapped her eyes open, feeling an invisible hand gripping her throat. The suffocating pressure left her unable to make a sound. Her body rose uncontrollably into the air. With a series of sharp, cracking sounds, her limbs were violently broken.
The
Instant, she went completely still. Aya watched everything coldly, without a trace of fear in her eyes. Early the next morning, everyone gathered around the driveway. The night who heard the news and rushed over. She froze in terror on the spot. A girl who had been bullied during the day found herself grabbed by an invisible hand while trying to sleep at night. Her body lifted uncontrollably into the air, accompanied by the sharp crack of bones breaking. Her arms and legs were violently twisted, and she went completely still in an instant. The next morning, everyone gathered around the driveway. They were arrived upon hearing the news and froze on the spot in terror. The follower's body had been thrown by the well. His teeth were glistening. His body had been snapped in half, sending chills down everyone's spine. Ivy sank to the ground in despair, afraid she might be the next target. From that day on, the dormitory became forbidden territory. Everyone moved out, preferring to sleep on the floor in the hall rather than be near Aya. After someone had died, the principal could no longer remain idle. He immediately gave Away a death order by any means necessary. Aya, the curse bringer, had to be removed. Meanwhile, Aya sneaked into the archives room. She rifled through old newspapers, hoping to uncover Aya's background. What she found terrified her to the core. The headlines screamed Aya had caused over 30 deaths overnight at her previous school due to bullying. Even her own biological parents had fallen victim to the ghost mother, with no evidence. The police had exiled her to this isolated island. The principal had thought removing her would
We know that.
rough. The boats couldn't reach the shore. Since she couldn't be taken away, she had to be made to disappear forever. For the safety of the entire school, the principal crept to Aya's bed at night with a sharp knife and drove it down into her bedding with all his strength. Some blood stained the sheets. He thought he had finally eliminated the threat, but when he returned to his office, he saw a scene that froze his heart. Aya, left dead, stood unharmed before his desk, coldly flipping through her own files. Refusing to give up, the principal swung the knife again. Aya caught it effortlessly with her bare hands. The principal tried to flee, but his own hands were out of control, forcing a sharp blade from his own hand after dealing with the principal. Aya set all the files on fire. In the glow of the flames, the once weak girl vanished, replaced by a being consumed by hate. It wasn't long before Aiden rushed to the principal, desperately seeking help, only to find a cold corpse instead. With his last safe support gone, he realized he was on his own. Aiden figured that if he could destroy the clay doll, there might still be a slim chance of survival. They tried smashing it with rocks, burning it with fire, but no matter what they did, the clay figure remained completely unharmed. Meanwhile, Maya stood in front of Wade with blood all over her hands, crying that she had been bullied again. Wade was touched the bandage to her wound when he accidentally caught a reflection in the mirror. There was a terrifying ghostly figure clinging to Maya's back. That's when Wade realized Aiden had been telling the truth all along. Struggling to suppress his fear, he casually made an excuse and slipped away, quietly finding Aiden. They told everyone what they discovered and claimed they had already locked his way inside the lighthouse. Just as they finished speaking, Maya appeared behind them with a cold, emotionless stare. A simple wooden door was never going to stop her, not with that spirit power, looking at the people. Wade tried to talk her down, but one reckless guy in the crowd suddenly smashed a bottle over my completely snapped her last shred of sanity. If the whole world wanted her dead, then fine, she'd take everyone down with her. The girl didn't even get a chance to scream before her head was opened. Everyone else panicked and ran to survive. Aiden and Lily hid inside the lighthouse, but that kind of protection meant nothing in front of an enraged Maya. She kicked the door down and charged straight in with a knife. With nowhere left to run, Aiden the next second, he was badly injured and completely lost the ability to resist. Just then, Wade arrived after hearing the noise. He carefully helped the injured Aiden up, shielding him behind his back, and shouted at Maya to stop. Aiden stumbled backward in pure terror. All Maya had left was one thought: